time, we'll take Sam's original advice and go to
There
phone.
he is.
There he is. Good morning, Sam.
Good morning, gentlemen. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
All right. So we're in the beautiful Courtyard Minneapolis lobby, about to leave here. I'm sure your viewers are just so excited to see somebody walk to work.
Yeah, and and what you're doing right now, which is great, is you're doing one of two grandpa FaceTime poses. So there's only two. There's the one where you hold it close to your face,
entirely too close,
and you can only see the eyes and above. Or there's the one where
I gotta go like this.
I'm saying you're holding it down by your waist, so we're looking up at you rather than straight across. But Sam will take it. There we go. Look at that. We got to get him a selfie stick. Where are you going, Sam?
He's walking to the arena.
I'm going to the arena. It's quite a ways away. I'm a veteran traveler, and I had a rookie move where the hotel looked fine, and I picked it, and it said Courtyard Downtown Minneapolis. And I would beg to differ with the downtown characterization.
Well, in the future, as somebody who lived in St. Paul for a couple years on Minnetonka Avenue, call me. I can give you all the layouts, and we will talk about your family trip to Pearl Jam a little bit later. But in the meantime, I want to talk about the current article you have out right now. One thing that really caught my eye, Sam, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, is superstition in sports is just so damn fun. And you had a little mention in the headline about a team dinner after a loss. Aaron Gordon couldn't make it, and now Aaron Gordon's not allowed there anymore.
That's right. Yeah, it was a fun thing to write. Man, y'all got me shook here. Now we're going back into the hotel because I left the AirPods case on the counter.
You gotta love it.
You're buying the AirPods if I lose my AirPods. Yeah, Aaron Gordon. So it's always fun. I mean, here's how I'm going to frame it. You know, for young reporters who want to do this, first of all, tough industry, but it is a fun job. Working the locker room, as we call it, is an age-old, kind of skill. And honestly, that was how this story came about. And it was just trying to talk to guys post-game. And I asked Aaron Gordon, it was just he and I talking, between games 2 and 3, if you go on to win the series, what are you going to remember about that time? Because they had like 3 days in between. And he ends up telling me this story about how he bought some little 3-wheel bikes for his family members, which, that was kind of an aside. But then he says to DeAndre Jordan, he says, "Hey, DJ, y'all going to dinner on this trip?" And he says, "Yeah, but not you, dog. Sorry." And I was confused about this whole thing. And admittedly, I didn't get to the bottom of it right away. It wasn't until later that I found out that, they went to dinner the night before game 3. And because they won game 3, and because Aaron Gordon, for some reason, did not attend and had other plans, Aaron has been uninvited from all subsequent dinners, which now I believe they've had 3. And they're on a 3-game winning streak. So fun little story.
Yeah, that seems like a weird for some reason, too, because if the whole team's going and he's the one that misses, now he seems like he's good with not going, and so is the team with him not including him. Was there ever any reason why he wasn't at that first dinner?
Jason, can't you just let me have my victory lap on the story and
not
point out that I didn't report it out well enough?
and I also spotted the guy that lifted your AirPods case.
I seriously can't find them. I'm walking around the whole lobby now. Oh,
I'll let you know if you want to know.
We have located them. Yes, let's go.
All right.
I don't know the answer. I mean, he's a a guy with family and friends, and he's on the road.
Yeah.
It's not crazy to have the idea of a guy not making the dinner. But the fact that it was, for me and my purposes, it was like, all right, was he only, the only one was the answer I needed. The answer was yes. And then just confirming, because, Joker is kind of the guy that you think might not make the dinner. You know what I mean? Like he's his own guy. He's got family. And so I wanted to confirm that Joker was at the dinner. He was at the first dinner. As an aside, this cracked me up. I went to great lengths to try to respect their team culture, because think about it, you're going into game 6. They were planning on having this dinner last night here in Minneapolis. So one of them had told me the name of the steakhouse. I choose not to write it because they still want to have dinner there. Right.
Right.
Well, I looked at Twitter yesterday, And I don't know this gentleman. I'm sure he's wonderful. He covers the Minnesota Wild for the Athletic, one of my colleagues, and he tweets out a thing where he just airs it out and says, "Oh, when I saw Joker at Panzano's Steakhouse last week, he's like little did I know that there was a whole backstory." And I was like, "Oh well, womp womp," as the kids say.
Well, that's a local versus national reporter right there. Sam Amick joining us. Sam, is this a players only dinner or are there coaches involved?
Players only.
Okay.
I
now,
haven't answered your question.
I was hoping you didn't. That's where I was going. You kind of foiled me there.
What did they have?
Yeah. I want to ask you about Nikola Jokic. There's a video going around of a guy doing a Jokic impersonation, which is really funny. The whole point of it being.
Hold on, can I interrupt you real quick? Because
yes.
We're doing this Minneapolis. I gotta give you a little taste of the local culture.
Please.
Something I've never seen. I think I'm looking at a bunch of hops on the street here. We're by a brewery, and this is quite interesting to me. You see these canisters here?
We're on a delay. Oh, look at that. It's canisters of hops. Yeah. It looks like horse feed in green buckets right outside this brewery.
There you go. That's beer right there, kid.
Wow. You may have to stop in and give. Oh, there's the whole layout. It looks like a Laverne and Shirley episode.
Wow.
Yeah. Going old school.
We're not in Milwaukee. Okay.
So, yeah, that's a good point. The whole thing with Jokic is that the NBA is a job, and he cares about his horses and hanging out with his brothers. And, he's really obviously very good at the NBA, but he can't wait to be done so he can go hang out with his horses. Now, Sam, you've spent time around him. You've covered him for a long time. How much truth is there to that? And how much is that just kind of the tongue-in-cheek narrative that he's fine with?
I mean, it depends on how. I think I'm following you, but are you implying that it will have an impact on how long he wants to play in the NBA and his career, or just his attitude?
No, I wasn't really going there. Although that's an interesting, thought. Is will he be an early retirer? But my question is really boiled down. The public narrative is that Jokic isn't obsessed with basketball; it's a job, and he seems to roll with that narrative. But I have a feeling that Jokic cares about basketball and works at basketball a hell of a lot harder than he lets on.
Yeah, I mean, the reality is the proof is in the pudding. Hopefully I'm coming through okay when I was trying to the highway. The guy's results, 3 MVPs in 4 years, championship last year, more specifically, a body that has continued to improve in terms of strength, in terms of cardio, and the guy's got a motor for days. He's physical. He's gotten better on defense. He still has a lot of moments. First 2 games of this series were pretty disastrous on that end. But, yeah, I mean, you just got to look at what he's been able to accomplish, and you have the answer to your question. Do I think it is something that tugs at him a little bit? Yeah, I do. For example, when they were down 2-0 in the series, and I might find a way to write this, because it's very nuanced. I'm in no way trying to indicate that Nuggets people were questioning his desire. I think Nuggets people, because they know his personality and they know that he doesn't broadcast his inner thoughts and tell you exactly where he's at, they wondered where his head was at because he didn't play very well in the first 2 games. And I talked to Reggie Jackson about it. Reggie said that he was concerned that Joker was just tired, that he had a run of 5 or 6 years of carrying this franchise. Jamal Murray had been hurt during that time. Michael Porter Jr. had been hurt, a lot of responsibility. So Reggie's thing was, if he's tired and this is how we go out, then it is what it is. But, I think those questions do kind of hover because, he's not – there's a lot of international players in the league. I get that. But this guy, is like – and then, and any other life track or job track, he has no interest in coming to the States. He loves Serbia, wants to be back in Serbia, loves horses, loves his family. He's here to play ball. But I think he's all in, as we see on the court.
Sam, on the flip side, after game 2, Minnesota maybe played one of the best defensive games we've ever seen. I mean, they actually just completely took Denver, broke their spirit seemingly in that game. Had Murray throw in the heat pack, where I'm still surprised he didn't get suspended for game 3. Anyway, all that's going so well for them, and they're going home, and they haven't won since, though they haven't been awful. It's just they haven't won since. Where do you think they are now? And obviously a must-win game 6 tonight.
I'm a little surprised, Jay, that they don't seem to be in a better place. I mean, we'll see. This is the fun part about sports. There's this comment could look stupid in like 12 hours, but they look to me like they're done. And I say that because some of their demeanor, some of the comments. I mean, for one, you got the Mike Conley injury, which matters a great deal. The offensive organization for them was a major issue in game 5. Anthony Edwards has improved as a point guard because he's got the ball so much, but he needs Mike Conley, and that showed itself. But the other stuff, like end of the third quarter in game 5, I happened to go out of my way to kind of see Edwards' demeanor. And I expected him to be talking to his teammates and getting them going for the fourth quarter. And he was kind of sitting on the bench looking fairly chill, smiling with Monte Morris. And I don't know, I thought it was a weird look. Then you see him post-game, and I understand that Joker's a great player, but the degree to which he gave Joker his flowers in his post-game comments in the media and just talking about how amazing Joker is, it felt to me like a little bit of a resignation in the series, but we'll see tonight.
Sam Amick joining us. If you're wondering, if you're just tuning in, what the noise is in the background, he's walking to Target Center in Minneapolis, of course, ahead of tonight's game. Sam, your gut instinct is Donovan Mitchell played his last game in Cleveland.
I don't have a great feel for it. I mean, there's an argument to be made that he should sign the extension and figure out his future later. But I'm going to say yes, because of some of the factors around him right now. The one, our place, Joe Varden, Shams Charania last night dropped another one of our classic obituary stories on the Cavs right after they were done. But one of the details in there that certainly matters is that if Donovan returns, that Darius Garland, his agent Rich Paul, may very well ask for a trade. So you have strong signs right away that Garland doesn't think he's a good fit with Donovan. So it's like, man, even if you're the Cavs and you get what you want, that's not ideal because you lose the other backcourt mate potentially. It just seems messy. And then I think JV Bickerstaff ultimately will likely be replaced. But we'll see. I mean, it's going to be, if he signals that he wants out, it's going to be a free-for-all. You've seen speculation about Lakers, obviously, Miami, Brooklyn, with Donovan's history growing up in the New York area. So, I mean, he's going to be the name of the summer for sure.
You mentioned Bickerstaff possibly being on the way out. We've seen, since I think we last talked, Phoenix filling their head coaching job and the Lakers now starting their interviews. Let's kind of maybe start with Phoenix landing on Coach Bud and where you see the Lakers going in their hiring.
I mean, the Phoenix Coach Bud thing is rich to me just because, we've talked about Matt Ishbia, the Suns owner, who came in like gangbusters and, did blockbuster trades. And not only that, I don't know if I've shared this with you guys before. Normally when you hear that owners have a lot to do with a move, like, for example, in Sacramento, usually the owner is trying to keep that under wraps. Like, you don't want people thinking you got out in front of your GM. You know what I mean? When the Suns did these trades for Durant and Beal, like the actual like signaling from the organization was, hey, make sure you mention that Matt Ishbia did this. It's very strange, like flexing big time early on. And now not a lot of reason to flex. But of course, they've decided it's the coach's fault So Vogel's out, and you bring in a guy, Mike Budenholzer, who is a very good coach, championship coach. But first of all, just a little irony. This is the coach that beat you in the finals a couple years ago. Secondly, is a coach that is notorious for being very stubborn to make adjustments. Come playoff time, I don't know. Like some of the qualities are, one could argue, not what the Suns need. And just a reminder that all coaches are vulnerable. What always I found so interesting, guys, about Budenholzer's championship run a few years back, and we wrote this at the time, is that if they hadn't gotten out of the second round of those playoffs, he was done. And that was our, like, internally, that was the bar. And then it was hilarious to watch it go from, yeah, we probably need a new coach, to, hey, we're champs, and now, of course, he's going to try to save Phoenix. So we'll see how that goes. And apologies, give me the second one you threw at me.
Oh, where the Lakers were in their hiring process.
Strange. Lakers days are kind of strange right now, because on the one hand, the claim is that, robust coaching search, lots of names, slow process. Okay, fine. But right out the gate, a lot of chatter that it's a bit of a ruse, en route to a showdown between JJ Redick and James Borrego, potentially. And, and within that you have, this is a new wrinkle. You have, Clutch, which of course is the prominent agency founded by Rich Paul that represents LeBron and Anthony Davis. But within Clutch, and they have their voice, but they certainly don't. By and large, the Lakers have ignored their requests the last couple of years. But Clutch has two priorities on the Lakers, right? They have LeBron and they have AD. And this is just me talking, but I get the sense that it was like, if it was up to AD, there's chatter that James Borrego would be the preference. But then you got this JJ Redick dynamic, which is so unique, where this guy, first of all, has never coached. Very, very smart basketball mind, great communicator, as you see in the media. Good guy. I like JJ. But, the whole idea that months ahead of becoming a candidate for the Lakers job, he launched a podcast with LeBron James, who doesn't really do any media like that, not on his platform. This was just a different type of thing for LeBron to do. So as somebody who likes JJ, if he gets his damn job, like, I cannot wait to shake his hand and just say, chestnut checkers, man. Like, holy smokes. Like that, like you were, 6 months ahead of this thing. But we'll see what happens. But, I think it'll be, those are, the names you're going to hear at the end.
Speaking of the Lakers, speaking of the Suns, we've come up with an acronym kind of in honor of Monty McNair, who has said both publicly and privately, as you know, that, much like in his Houston days with Daryl Morey, that one guiding principle in the background of all the moves they do is that they're going to be in a position, make sure they're in a position asset-wise to be able to go after a distressed asset. Right. And the acronym is SODA, as in Summer of Distressed Assets, because between the Lakers, the Suns, there's so many different teams now, the Warriors, that are dealing with situations where they want to make moves, and there might be some major stars on the move. The Kings have the number 13 pick in the draft, for example. As you know, the Wizards reportedly want to pick up another lottery pick, et cetera, et cetera. I'll ask you another gut feeling question, Sam. Do you think Monty McNair ends up using that pick?
We're just handicapping, right?
Yeah, we're just handicapping.
I'm going to say no. It's time for them to do something.
Agreed.
I'm going to say no. I like your SODA acronym.
Thank you.
Although SODA's bad for you, so maybe that,
That's
doesn't
true.
track.
That's a great point.
So, yeah, I say, they got to make a move. And there are conceivably people available. And I have not tried to get clarity on that many names. One guy that I found interesting recently, just in my own conversations, was wondering how they feel about Brandon Ingram. That's a guy that I think is gettable.
Yep.
I mean, there's no, like, again, they have the mentality of that they want to be in everything. So just because the outside world isn't talking about, you with Donovan Mitchell doesn't mean they can't take a run at Donovan Mitchell. Interesting debate to be had about that fit with Fox. But, whoever it is, I think they got to make a move because this is, again, we always talk about Vivek and his Warriors history. And while I would anticipate, not for sure, but it feels like eventually a Mike Brown deal gets done, right?
Yep.
So, I think that likely gets stabilized. But if you still compare this Kings team to the old Warriors rise, this group has got to get better.
Yeah.
And that's not through the 13th pick. It's not through, running it back. They didn't make the playoffs, and it's time to swing for the fences and see what they can do.
Where are you off to next, Sam? Are you following the West here? Going on? What's your next site after tonight's Game 6?
Tracking this one, and I'll go ahead and do, especially because it's closer to home. I'll do Game 7 in Denver if there is one. So basically, it's either home tomorrow if the Nuggets are moving on, or Game 7 in Mile High City if that's what it is. So from there,
nice.
This is the, you had your soda reference. This is I don't have an acronym for you, but the summer of our oldest Ryder Amick graduating from high school. So everything is partly organized. That's next week early on. So I got to make sure I'm home before the West Finals, and then I'll be on that track from there.
Well, you stole my thunder because I was going to say we'll leave with this, and I share a lot more publicly than you, so I'll keep it very non-specific and let you decide what you want to share. But you mentioned your son graduating. I happen to know which school he's going to next year. He also received a pretty cool award, and then you guys skipped off to Pearl Jam. So I'll give you the platform to share as much or as little as you want about the most successful Amick, I would say.
Before we do that, I'm going to ruin a fun moment. You just gave me the stage, but you guys wanted the video of this walk, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. There's no way I'm not showing the statue that I'm now walking by. All right, here we go. How do we feel about this?
All right, we got the little 3-second delay. I'll describe this for the radio listeners as soon as the camera turns here. Oh, wow. What is, okay, it is,
they're hugging.
It is a statue of two people that really kind of have my body type. Let's just put it like that. They're embracing or dancing. Yeah. It almost looks like a junior high dance thing where you're kind of arms
I hope
apart.
That's not happening in junior high. They're butt-ass naked, Dave.
Okay. Well, I was leaving that part out. And then, Sam, can I just say the ponytail on what I believe is the woman on the right is also shaped like something else. So that's an interesting statue.
All right. I just ruined the fun family moment. You tried
great job.
Lob my way. All right. I'm sure my son would love, being part of this conversation. No, it was a fun couple days. He's going to Sonoma State, which will be great. Excited for him. Studying theater. Has enjoyed it, being passionate about acting. So it's been a fun little journey. And Pearl Jam was awesome, where they indulged their father in going to see a band that he's always enjoyed but had never seen live. The part that I got to give a shout out to our mutual friend, Dan Spackman, with the Kings. So Dan helped me out because there was an award ceremony for Ryder at his high school that was pushing up against the Pearl Jam concert. And, but it was meaningful. We couldn't miss the ceremony. And I needed to know exactly when Pearl Jam was going to come on stage so that I knew exactly how much time we had to get from Elk Grove to Golden One. And shout out Dan for making the evening a little bit less stressful because he's a powerful man at the Kings and has that kind of information. So he helped contribute to a meaningful night.
Well, you can all expect to see Sam very soon in a Sonoma State Seawolves gear. The mascot Lobo, the Seawolf.
They used to be the Cossacks.
Really?
Yes, I can say that on the air too.
Oh, geez. Yeah. Well, I like the Seawolves more.
Okay.
So
isn't that, and I don't mean to sound culturally naive, but isn't that like a Russian slur? That's why they changed it?
I don't know. I just remember being a student at Davis doing college football back then, and that was their name. I don't know what they were.
I could be way off. Yeah.
My great uncle's twin brother was beheaded by a Cossack in front of his brother. That is a true story. So
wow.
There you go. Yeah, actually happened.
Go Seawolves.
Go Seawolves. All right. Hey, Sam, congratulations. Have a great time out there. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, guys. See ya.
See ya. Maybe we're way late for a break. It's a true story. When we come back, let's do a postmortem on the